All right, my next question. After all of the roadblocks, how did it feel to actually open?
I felt, in one hand, I felt exhilarated because we were finally open. But on the other hand, I've been around the block. I own a lot of businesses, and I kind of thought, well, this isn't over yet. Because my initial perception was that the city did not want this business to be there. And I just felt that this wasn't done. And, so I was always kind of in the back of my mind thinking, what's next, like, well, we were open, so we went with that, and we were like, let's just go with it. And so the first week, things were really cool, and it started to really kind of build up. And so then I got more excited when I started to hear the results, when Lonnie's article came out about what somebody said about his session with them. And they were, it was weird, but it was good. And then another lady that Lonnie saw, she's a chiropractor, and she had fibromyalgia and anxiety problems. And she said that it was so amazing that she woke up without anxiety the next day. And I started to really kind of get excited because this is what I knew going into it, that the benefits there. So,
Right.
yeah,
Having experienced it yourself.
exactly, yeah.
Okay. Briefly, can you walk us through what would take place in a typical snuggle session?
Sure. If you wanted to book a session, Kelly, you would give us a call, and then we would run the quick background check on you, take a deposit, schedule you for the session. You would show up a little early. You would meet with the snuggler and kind of go over your paperwork. And then once you're actually in the session, well, you'd change if you had to and all that good stuff. But when you're in the session, you're kind of in control. Our snugglers, they knew their boundaries and the parameters of what they can operate within, but it's why you're there. So if you're there because you want to snuggle on the bed, that's totally fine. You can just go right to doing that. If you're there because maybe you're touch phobic and you just want to learn how to be more social and not so anxious in public, then it would be where do we start now? Do you want to just sit down? Do you want to hold hands and start there? So that's kind of how it played out. And we had all types. There was a girl that came in and she had, sorry, I'm going off again, real quick. She had anxiety so bad that she could hardly calm down. And so that was another issue as well. So you have to learn how to respect somebody's boundaries. Even though they're there for touch therapy, doesn't mean that they're there for snuggling. So,
Right,
yeah,
right. I do understand that.
yeah,
We have an associate who did go to the Snuggle House and he was very excited, I had mentioned.
yeah,
And he openly has physical contact issues. Hugging people goodbye or hello, even family members. He's a little put off by it.
yeah.
And so he said that they did work into it. His snuggler,
Jennifer?
Jennifer,
Yeah,
yes, she worked him into it, and they talked about Breaking Bad and other TV shows, and then once
yeah,
he got comfortable, then it's like, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
yeah.
Um, what was the work atmosphere like between the employees and just generally speaking?
They had a really strong camaraderie. Because they had been through so much, it really kind of really meshed everyone together. And I loved everybody. Everybody we hired, I mean, I hired them because I just saw in them what I knew everybody else would see in them. And they were pure, they were coming from the heart. I'm sorry, that was a mic. They were genuine. And I knew that they loved people in general. That was their impetus. They love people. And so that kind of reflected in the environment. Everybody was willing to help and pitch in and do whatever they needed to do, and happy, smiling. It was really cool.
And how many employees were there?
Uh, at our peak, we had, let's see, I think we had 5. We had 5 at our peak, and we were going to start with 5. So, yeah, we had 2 at the end. 1 male, 1 female.
And I wanted to ask you if as a woman,
Mm-hmm.
if I wanted to snuggle with a woman,
Yes.
would I be able to, and vice versa?
Yes, you can. Yes.
Okay.
Jennifer, she had one scheduled out after we closed, and Lonnie had male clients, so we were good either way. You know, it wasn't about discrimination or anything like that. It was all about love, and there's no boundary really. I mean, because if it's non-sexual and all it is therapeutic cuddling, then there's no reason why they shouldn't, and nobody felt intimidated or anything like that.
Good
Yeah.
answer. So it seemed like you guys had a lot of appointments at startup.
It was good. It was decent. It was less than we initially would have had, I think, if we would have started when we wanted to start. But it was still a good turnout, and it was building.
So now we have statistics.
This is well, these are what we were working on. We just started on that a week ago, but that was all the people that had wanted to
These
get in
are
for
alphabetical.
a session.
Okay.
So these are, you know, us trying to salvage a lot of these appointments that we had set or try to get people in. But these are all the people that
You
were.
guys take notes?
Yeah, we had a full-time manager we just hired, like in our last week. So her job was to actually go through and figure out who had been contacted. You know, go through everything, figure out what to do, who to contact, get people back in there,
And how many names do you think are in here?
and 330 maybe or 350, somewhere like that.
Okay.
But
and this is all just
that's all just
like scheduling.
yeah, their
things
stuff.
and-
But so we had the first week I think we only had a few days of that week, but we had 16 appointments within a few days, and then we were starting to get finally some 3-hour sessions come in, which is really nice because then it's better for the snuggler. They get to be there for a longer period, and so things were really picking up, and we really only had 2 solid weeks of being in business. So
And that was 2 solid weeks without harassment, or just
it was finally where, you know, like a normal business should be, where you can just have business.
go in, start your day, do the work,
Yeah.
and punch out.
Yeah. Well, I should also add that the first day we opened, the city attorney's office sent a police officer to come up and do a walkthrough. So, I mean, you know, usually you don't get that kind of red carpet, you know, for any business, but
So you had about 300 clients.
yeah, well, potential clients.
Potential.
And yeah. But we did have between 2 and 3 dozen that actually had already booked, and we were getting more and more. So it was, yeah. And we didn't advertise. I should also add that a lot of these people were from Facebook. We didn't actually advertise. We didn't do any advertising. So a lot of this was just
Word of mouth.
word of mouth. We didn't target anybody for, you know, here's our magazines, you know, come check us out, or go to any outreach things. We had that planned to come in the future, where we were going to reach out, and Lonnie and Jennifer were going to go to, you know, like the nursing homes and say, can we be of service? We'll come to you. You know, we were willing to do some crazy stuff. I play guitar. We were going to like donate some of our time, play some guitar, and then have them offer themselves to like sit with people and talk and listen, and it's things that people usually don't get. So
I heard Lonnie was down at the Capitol
yeah.
offering free hugs one day.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, free hugs, get your free hugs, you know. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Lonnie, actually, Lonnie, Jennifer, Emily, and Florence were all out there doing that day. So
Sounds like a great sense of community.
it was very, very warm and inviting. So
And overall, from the customers that you did have, the clients, from the feedback that you heard, it was generally positive.
yes, it was. Yeah.
I think you've answered this already.
Okay.
Do you like snuggling?
I do. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And do you really believe that snuggling is therapeutic and can heal people or help people?
Well, the disclaimer is, I don't think that healing and curing and anything like that is part of the process. But I do believe that studies have proven that human touch can release oxytocin, and it usually does when you're hugging or cuddling. And that is the stress hormone that is known as the love hormone, love chemical. And when I went into it myself, not just when I did it and I received the benefits of the PTSD coming down, but when I had to do the training with the Snugglers that we hired, yeah, the benefits were there. I mean, it's kind of awkward a little bit sometimes, but once you get past the awkwardness part and you really can just kind of relax and open up and talk and just connect with somebody, you really do, at least from my point of view, you feel pretty good when you're done. So I think, yeah, there are benefits. Yeah.
So the clients of the Snuggle House were benefited as well as the snugglers.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that wanted to work there.
Yes. Lonnie and Jennifer were they were very passionate. They are very passionate about this. And the news was kind of devastating when I told them I had to shut it down. And one thing Jennifer said to me was, she says, well, not only were they benefiting, but I liked it too. So it's a job where people can really enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think everyone wants that and needs that in their lives.
Yeah.